Grainger, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. You know Grainger offers professional-grade products for every industry, like voltage detectors, harnesses, and hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. So he can rise to every challenge, just like you. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Again, but expectations are there. That is, to me, one of the top teams in terms of I cannot wait to see how this works out. Because when he was at the peak of his powers, I thought Carson Beck was a very good quarterback. I had a bet with humans that this last draft he was going to be a first-round pick, and then he decided to stay because he was absolutely terrible. But I think there's some real upside there that if he hits it, he's going to be, again, one of the better quarterbacks in the country. But holy smokes, that was weird last year.
Catch Money Moves every weekday at noon Eastern, right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It is Live Bet Saturday. Mark Malusis and Will Hill with you right here on VSiN. A lot of baseball going on right now. The Toronto Blue Jays leading the Minnesota Twins 4-3, and they're in the top half of the ninth inning. That game is in Minnesota, so the Twins are going to need a little ninth inning magic. Dodgers and Cardinals still remain scoreless in the bottom half of the eighth inning. That game out in St. Louis. The Texas Rangers have jumped out on top of the Washington Nationals 2-0. Texas with DeGrom on the mound is a minus 430 favorite. If you think the Nats are going to rally, you're going to get 3-1 on your money. The Philadelphia Phillies and the Pittsburgh Pirates, that game in Pittsburgh, they're a 1-1 tie in the bottom half of the second inning. And that game's minus 113 or $1.13 each and every way. The other game, how about the Cincinnati Reds jumped out on top of Arizona 3-0 in the bottom half of the first inning. Cincinnati's still batting. They have men on second and third and one out. They're now a minus 850 favorite when you look at the Cincinnati Reds going up against Arizona. And they're already out 3-0, and they've pushed across 3 runs in their home half of the first inning. And Will, they were listening. The Kansas City Royals got to have a little bit of a jam in the bottom half of the first inning. How about the Royals, who I said I'd back? Kansas City now leading Chicago 1-0 in the top half of the second inning. They have a man on with one out. So Kansas City able to scratch across a run.
An offensive eruption by the Kansas City Royals to score an early run here, as they have a man on second with 2 outs. And like you said, Cincy up 3-0, and they're threatening for more. Second and third, 1 out, minus 700 on the live line. Rays and Marlins still scoreless. Yeah, that's about it. We got Giants and Braves still scoreless. We're already in the top of the third there. So DeGrom has a 2-0 Texas. That was a good one. Hopefully people tail to that one. Yankees and Red Sox later. Were you at the game last night? I know sometimes you go to these Friday night games. Were you at the one last night?
I was not at Yankees Sox. Okay. No, I was back in the studio last night. There was no Yankees Sox for me. But I mean, you got what you kind of expected. I mean, the Red Sox are all kinds of bad. They really are. And the Yankees able to jump out on top early. They led that game at one point in time 7-0. Their pitching got a little leaky. Red Sox got themselves back into it. I think you saw Alex Bregman with the mustache to begin the game and then shave the mustache when they were getting their doors throttled and step back into the dugout. He's on the IL for the Boston Red Sox. But no, I was not at the game last night. And that's going to be a Fox game later on this evening. Yankees and Sox, and it is a great rivalry, Will. It's not one and the same. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, like when you think about peak to me, Yankees, Red Sox, and I don't in the 80s the playoff system was completely different. Boston was always better, with Boggs and Clemens and Jim Rice and Dewey Evans. I mean, they were always better. To me, when you think about peak Yankees rivalry, it's Pedro Martinez, Johnny Damon, Kevin Mull, like that. Yeah. To me was an amazing time for this rivalry. Curt Schilling, when Mike Mussina had his perfect game broken up by Carl Everett on that Sunday night baseball game on ESPN, like those are the times when I think about peak for me as a Yankee fan. For me, that was peak Yankees Red Sox rivalry.
Yeah, I would say, and it comes in waves. Sometimes it's dormant and sometimes it sparks back up. They need to both be good to have that juice. It's interesting. They've both been pretty good for the moment. Maybe not the Red Sox, but they've had stretches where they're both good. The last 10 years, just never at the same time. Haven't met in the playoffs. since they had the wild card game, so that was a little moment. But yeah, for the most part, 03 to 05, 06, Damon left, I think 05. They had the back-to-back 7 gamers. 03 and 04 both were great series for different reasons with different results. The 03 one was a great one with the Aaron Boone walk-off, but then they somehow lost that series to the Marlins. Then they got stunned the next year, as we all know, with the Red Sox winning. So that was a lot of fun. And they both operated differently because it was just an arms race of who can add the most players. They were always in competition for all the best players. We're going to try to get A-Rod. No, we're going to try to get him. Schilling. It was almost like they both operated like the Dodgers operate now, where it was just they wanted every player. They wanted to keep away from the other players. It was a lot more fun then, but the Red Sox not really doing their part to keep up. As far as this game tonight, I would have bet
Crochet and Yarborough are your pitching matchup.
I'd bet Crochet if anything. I'd bet Crochet if anything.
Yeah, well, I was going to, you stole the words right out of my mouth, Will. I was going to ask you, can I tempt you to take the Boston Red Sox tonight? Yarborough's done a nice job for the Yankees this year. When you look at him, a converted reliever into the starting rotation has given them some representable starts. Boston kind of has been sluggish when you look at it. They've been a lot of drama. They've been trying to find answers. They've called up some of the guys from the farm system, some of their highly touted prospects. One of them hit a home run last night. You like to see that if you're a Red Sox fan. But if you're thinking, okay, well, this is going to be the Yankees steamroll in Boston. If you're looking at the pitching matchup, Crochet should be able, even with this Yankee lineup, how good Judge is, Chisholm, who's at probably like 70, 75%. He's going to hit some Yankee Stadium home runs in that short porch in right field. Volpe has not been necessarily the offensive player you expected. 70, it's really kind of the steadying forces in that Yankee lineup have been 2 guys. It's been Judge, right field, Volpe, the best hitter in all of Major League Baseball. It's been Goldschmidt at first base. Really those have been the 2 guys that have been the steady forces offensively. But when you look at this matchup tonight, this has got to be one that favors Boston with Crochet on the mound going up against Yarborough.
Yeah, and look, the Red Sox always hit at Yankee Stadium. Devers always hits. I feel like you could just set your clock to a game at Yankee Stadium. You feel like Devers is going to go deep. He's just such a good hitter. You put him in that ballpark. Just always, he owns Cole. He always matches up well against the Yankees. Yarborough's been decent, like you said. It was a really good performance against the Dodgers to avoid the sweep on Sunday Night Baseball. But there's still some holes in this Yankee rotation. Schmidt and Yarborough. Schmidt's okay, but Yarborough, Will Warren's up and down. Fried and Rodon at the top have been excellent, and that's the bullpen's pretty good. Weaver's now hurt, so. We talked about this last time we were together a few weeks ago, a month ago. If you had to pick an American League team to come out of the World Series, I would pick the Yankees. Who would you pick at this point?
Yeah, I'd probably take the Yankees. I mean, the only other team you would take would be Detroit, would it not? Right. I mean, that would basically be it. Where else would you go with any sort of confidence whatsoever?